Hello there. I hope you've had a lovely week so far. Let's crack on with the question for this week, and it is a really interesting question. And the question is, what leadership development interventions have the biggest impact both for the individual and the business? So I've read that out because I'm always going to mess it up otherwise. So this is an interesting one because I don't think there's a straightforward answer to this question. What I'll do is I'll share a little bit about the things you should be considering when developing or deciding on the intervention that you're going to go with. So first of all, I think really be clear about what is it you're wanting to fix, address with the leadership development intervention. What do you want to see as a result of making that investment in time, money, resources, so that you're really getting shift and the type of shift that you're looking for with your leadership capability, whatever that might look like. So start by really being clear about what it is you want to fix and what you want to address. And then look at it from a perspective of what skills are we trying to address here? And when I'm talking about leadership skills, it doesn't necessarily just mean that the knowledge about the nuts and bolts of something. It's also thinking about actually what are the behaviours and the mindsets that support this type of skill to be effective. So let me give you an example of that. So if I think about conversations, so the skill of being able to have really good conversations with your team, there are behaviours that underpin being able to have those conversations really well. And some of those are skills as well. So there are behaviours, there are skills, there are mindsets. So if we think about that example of having great conversations, the mindset is, for me anyway, to kind of have a positive intent towards those conversations, to keep those conversations in the diary, to keep committed to those conversations, and to have real value and want to have value from those conversations. So that for me would be the mindset that you might want to develop. The behaviours then might be, again, showing up on time, listening, which I guess is a skill as well, isn't it? So we might want to look at the skills that go alongside that. The behaviour could be follow-up. If you said you're going to do something from that conversation, kind of like follow up. That is something that is behaviour-led. So have a think about the things that you're really wanting to deliver in that skill space through leadership development, and then have a think about the intervention that will help shift that along. Once you've developed those skills, and some of that development will come from knowledge, so sharing knowledge, sharing ideas around how they can implement that skill and how they can develop that skill. What you then want to do is create the space for them to practice that skill, to really do it in the flow of their work, to really do skills, behaviour, mindset development that really is relevant for them. So don't shy away from saying, actually, we don't need to focus on that skill for this leadership development intervention, because actually it's not something they need to rely on that much at the moment. Try not to do a sheep dip of giving them everything. Focus on those priorities. And then when you've focused on those priorities, give them the support that they need to put that into practice. So what does that look like? So some of it is making sure that you're encouraging them to start practicing the skill. And then it's about following that up. The nudges. Is their line manager asking them about those skills? How they're getting on? What kind of feedback is being captured, developed, understood to help understand how they are practicing that skill and whether that is going well or not? And actually, do they need a little bit more support from that perspective? And the third area I'd ask you to have a think about is then how do you help them embed it? So you've given them the knowledge, the input, the structure, the support to help them develop those skills. You've given them the opportunity to practice by nudging them, getting feedback, helping them to put it into practice. And then the third one would be, how do you then help them learn from that practice and embed the new skill? Embed what it is you wanted them to achieve through the learning intervention and the leadership development intervention that you've put in place. So embedding that is about really helping the thing to become a habit, but it needs to be supported in the right way. So yes, it might be that the practice has gone well, they're really comfortable with it, and they're away and they're making it part of their toolkit, and that's how they're leading now. Brilliant. It might be that they've had some hits with confidence, that they're struggling to implement it, that they're struggling with some of the feedback around it. So actually what you need to be doing here is making sure there are interventions available to support that further. That could be coaching, that could be mentoring, that could be additional skill development. So like I said in the first part, some of the skills you might need to develop also need skills. So understanding if there is something else that is required to support them to put that into practice really well. So if we just recap that, the 3 things that I think you need to be thinking about when developing the right leadership development intervention for your organisation is, first of all, really being clear about the skills that are necessary to help you achieve the purpose of that intervention. So what skills are you looking to develop? Making sure you're prioritising what's most important rather than trying to do everything. Second of all, you then need to be thinking about how you help them to practice. And that is about nudging them. That is about making sure that they are taking action and that the follow-up is there through their managers, through other ways that you can do that. And that could be things like action learning sets, helping actively to get them practicing those skills. And then finally, it's about how do you help them embed. So once they've done the practice and they may be doing really well or they may be struggling a little bit, how do you provide interventions like coaching, mentoring, those action learning sets again, possibly, to really help them to continue working at it, continuing to develop it so that it really does become something that they are confident with and they become effective at. What are the best leadership development interventions? It depends on your circumstances and your organisation. But if you think about those 3 steps to really help you to kind of have impact for the individual and the organisation, those will really help you to have a positive impact on both. I hope that was really useful for you today. If you've got any questions yourself, please do submit those into the form. You'll find that form in the comments and you'll also find it in my features section of LinkedIn. Feel free to drop me a message, or if there's anything you want to follow up on from this little video, give me a shout. Okay, bye now.